Losing a pet isn't just losing an animal. It's losing a piece of your daily soul rhythm. You come home and the silence is deafening. You look for them at the foot of the bed and they aren't there. Today, we are diving into a topic many of you have asked for, the transition across the Rainbow Bridge. But we're looking at it through two very specific lenses. First, the deep spiritual readings of the Sleeping Prophet Edgar Cayce. What did he say happens to an animal's soul? And second, we're looking at the hard science. Why does our brain feel like it's literally breaking after they pass? We're going to map out the timeline from the first 48 hours to the weeks following to understand why this transition is one of the hardest a human can endure. Edgar Cayce's perspective on animals was revolutionary for his time. Generally, Cayce spoke of animals belonging to group souls. This means they share a collective consciousness based on their species. However, and this is the beautiful part, Cayce taught that human love changes the biology of the soul. In his readings, he suggested that when a human pours deep, unconditional love into a pet, that animal begins to individuate. Your love acts as a magnet, pulling that soul out of the group consciousness and giving it a unique, permanent identity. Cayce essentially said that you are the reason your pet becomes an eternal individual. Because life is continuous and God is life, that bond cannot be severed by the shedding of a physical body. If you are wondering if you will see them again, Cayce's readings imply that your vibratory fields are now forever linked. But if they are still with us in spirit, why does it feel so physically painful? This is where the brain comes in. When you pet your dog or hear your cat purr, your brain releases a massive dose of oxytocin, the bonding hormone, and dopamine, the reward chemical. For years, your brain has been wired to receive these hits at specific times. When you wake up, when you come home, when you feed them. The moment they pass, your brain goes into biochemical withdrawal. It is literally like quitting a substance cold turkey. Your brain is searching for the dopamine hit that comes from their presence. And when it finds nothing, it triggers the pain matrix. This is why grief feels like a physical ache in your chest. Your brain is trying to navigate a world where its primary happiness regulator is gone. Let's look at the timeline of this transition, both spiritually and physically. The first 48 hours, the shattering. Spiritually, Cayce might describe this as the silver cord releasing. The pet's essence is moving from the physical to the astral. Biologically, you are in shock and denial. Your cortisol levels are through the roof. This is when ghost sightings happen. You think you hear their tags jingling or see a shadow move. Your brain is desperately trying to pattern match a ghost that isn't there. The 1 week mark, the silence settles. By 1 week, the initial shock fades into acute grief. The routine is the enemy now. Every time you go to the kitchen and don't trip over them, your brain hits a neural dead end. Spiritually, the pet's energy is settling into your home's vibratory field. They are no longer transitioning, they are simply there, in a different frequency. 2 weeks to 1 month, the dream state. This is often when the visitations begin. Cayce spoke extensively about the subconscious mind being the doorway to the spiritual realms. Around the 1 month mark, your brain's fight or flight response lowers enough for you to meet them in your dreams. This isn't just your imagination. According to Cayce, this is a legitimate meeting of two souls in the astral plane. Why is this harder than losing most people? Because the love was uncomplicated. Humans have baggage. We have arguments, politics, and history. A pet offers unconditional regulation. They don't care if you're successful or if you've made mistakes. They just love. When that source of pure, non-judgmental energy is removed, it leaves a void that no human can fill in quite the same way. You aren't just mourning a pet, you're mourning the only version of yourself that was loved without any strings attached. If you are in the middle of that 48-hour or 1 week window right now, please be kind to your biology. Your brain is rewiring and your heart is recalibrating. Remember what Edgar Cayce told us. Love is the builded thing. The love you gave them didn't just make their life better. It gave them a soul that can now wait for you on the other side. They haven't left you. They've just moved into the room next door, waiting for the day your vibrations match once again. Now, we've talked about the dopamine crash, but how do we start the rewiring process? Acceptance isn't about getting over it. It's about integrating the loss into your new reality. One of the best things you can do for your brain in that first 2-week window is ritualization. Edgar Cayce often spoke about the power of the ideal. If your ideal was the unconditional love your pet provided, find a way to honor that daily. Create a small space, a candle, a photo, a favorite toy. This gives your brain a physical place to deposit its grief rather than letting it wander aimlessly through your empty house. It tells your nervous system, I know they aren't in the kitchen, but they are here in this sacred space. Many in the Cayce community find comfort in animal communicators. If you feel stuck in your grief, perhaps because the passing was sudden or there was unfinished business, a communicator can act as a bridge. From a Cayce perspective, these individuals are tapping into the Akashic Records, the universal hall of records, where every thought, intent, and vibration is stored. A gifted communicator isn't talking to a physical animal. They are tuning into the lingering, vibratory signature of that soul. If it helps you find peace or confirms that your pet is indeed individuated and safe, it can be a powerful tool for closing the trauma loop in your mind. When is the time right for a new companion? This is the most common question. When do I look for another? There is no standard calendar time. Some people feel ready in 2 weeks, others take 2 years. Here is the Cayce-inspired litmus test for the right time. Are you looking for a new pet to replace the old one, to stop the pain? Or are you looking to honor the old one by sharing that same love again? If you get a new pet solely to stop the dopamine withdrawal, you may find yourself unfairly comparing the new soul to the old one. But if you wait until you can look at a new puppy or kitten and feel a surge of giving rather than just needing, that is the sign. Cayce taught that like attracts like. When your vibration shifts from lack, the hole in your heart, to abundance, the desire to love again, the right soul will often find you. Don't be surprised if your departed pet actually scouts your next companion from the other side. Many people report that their new pet has a strange, familiar quirk that reminds them of the one they lost, a little wink from the universe that the cycle is continuing. If you are watching this and it's been a few months, maybe 90 days since your Bruno or your companion passed, you might find that the grief is hitting you in a brand new, sharper way. In the beginning, your brain was protected by shock, but at 3 months, the biological autopilot turns off. Your brain has finally realized that the silence isn't a glitch, it's the current reality. This is actually a sign of deep healing, even though it feels like a setback. Edgar Cayce often spoke about cycles of 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months. These are pivotal points where the physical body finally catches up to the spiritual change. If you're feeling Bruno's absence more today than you did a month ago, it's because your soul is now doing the heavy lifting of integrating his memory into your daily spirit. You aren't losing him again. You are moving him from your outer world to your inner sanctuary. As we wrap up this journey today, take a deep breath. Your brain is healing, and your pet is evolving. In the words of the readings, spirit is the life, mind is the builder, and the physical is the result. You built a bond of love that changed the very fabric of that animal's soul. That is a divine achievement. You didn't just own a pet, you mentored a soul. I have a special request for you today. If you are struggling, tell us about your pet in the comments. What was their name? What was their soul quirk? Let's use this comment section as a vibratory field of love and remembrance. And if you're planning your next video and need a thumbnail idea, remember to keep that bold yellow text, high contrast. Let's make sure this message of hope reaches as many grieving hearts as possible. If this video helped you understand your grief a little better, please hit the like button and share your pet's name in the comments. Let's create a space of remembrance today. I'm Cayce Reflections, and I'll see you in the next reading. Meanwhile, be patient with yourself, and remember, the bridge is shorter than you think. God bless.